I'm so upset. I'm so upset this week.
Shocked.
No, I'm upset, like sad, not mad. I'm a little mad, but
Oh.
mostly sad and disappointed. I've been watching. I've been doing a real great job, like grinding down my TV show list or list of things to watch that I haven't. And I finished a couple stuff this week, which we'll talk about that stuff. But this one, I forgot about it. But it came out back in October. That show, Hysteria, with I don't know if you remember. I brought it up back when it came out. It's with first of all, it's with the chick from Happy Gilmore, coincidentally, because we just watched that not too long ago. But our boy, Bruce Campbell. Dusty, do you remember we talked about this briefly?
Yeah.
It was on Peacock. It's a show, it's about this little town, and it takes place in the 80s, so it's inspired by, like, the satanic panic of, like, the 80s when, like, it was just sweeping the nation about Satanism and shit. And it's about these three kids in high school, and they're in a heavy metal band, and they're kind of like nobodies and losers and whatnot. And one of their classmates, who's like the high school football star, he goes missing and turns up dead. And there's a pentagram spray painted on his garage door at his house. Nice. And so the whole town gets like swept up in this, like, oh, Satanists are in our town and they killed so-and-so. But these three kids in the heavy metal band, they decide to pretend that they are in a cult and are Satanists to try to like get their band more popular.
Oh, God.
And so those two things intermingle, but it's like, I guess it's like a comedy / horror. And
That's awesome.
It was so fucking good. So good. I was pretty shocked at how good it was and how much I enjoyed it. I thought it was going to be just some cheesy bullshit. It was funny. It was truly creepy when it wanted to be. Like, there was some pretty genuine, like, creepy stuff going on in it. The mystery of, like, the murder and, like, what happened was really good and, like, genuinely, like, kind of enthralling, I guess, for lack of a better word. And it was really good. And then I fucking found out that fucking they canceled it after one season.
Wow.
Some of the best shows get canceled after one season. I hate it.
I was so upset when I found it out. I was like, do I even finish it? And I finished it, but it's only 8 episodes. You guys should watch it. It's so good.
It looks good. I like the cover art here.
Yeah, it's cool. It's got like it's just got that vibe. It did everything like well. It was like 80s. It's not as 80s as like Stranger Things. Stranger Things like really leans into the 80s. This doesn't do that.
Yeah.
But it is like, it's pretty good. Bruce Campbell in this was fantastic. And he's not the Bruce Campbell that we all know and love. Because usually he plays like, Ash, like a goofy kind of fucking like bombastic guy. In this, he's like kind of serious.
Swashbuckler.
Yeah. He plays the town sheriff, and he's like one of the only people who's like kind of skeptical about like the actual like Satanism stuff. And there is some supernatural shit going on in the show too. So it's got these like,
oh, that's cool.
It's got like multiple elements to it that makes it like super interesting. But he's like one of the few people that's like skeptical and like, you guys are fucking losing your minds. And it was just cool to kind of see him play a more straight up kind of character. But man, you guys got to watch it. It's only 8 episodes. It was fantastic. I can't recommend it enough. I hope it gets picked up on another network or something like that. Like, it's on Peacock. And I'm like, who the fuck even watches Peacock? I read that they canceled it because not enough people watched it. Like, it didn't get enough viewership. Like, what?
Yeah, you had it on fucking Peacock. No wonder.
That's what
Nobody's
I'm
going to watch that shit.
Well, Peacock canceled it. So I'm hoping and it got like pretty good critical praise too. Like, I'm hoping that the creators take it to a different network or something, because
Amazon,
they pick up everything.
Even though you keep talking shit about Amazon.
Whoa,
Netflix does too.
When did I talk shit about Amazon?
Last episode you talked shit about Amazon.
Oh, that was before
Bond.
That was before we talked about Severance. We're gonna talk more about that today. Trust, because it is a sin. But yeah, listen, that's different. But yeah, Hysteria. Super upset. You guys got to go watch it.
What the hell are we supposed to use, man? Harsh language?
Welcome back, folks. This is Harsh Language Podcast. This is episode 122. Today is Make Marvin Watch Day, our favorite day of the month. And we're making Marvin watch Dave this week from 1993, directed by Ivan Reitman. Fantastic movie, one of my favorites. So we'll be talking about that a little bit later. What have you guys been up to this week? Do you guys watch anything that made you depressed and not want to watch anything ever again?
No, I haven't been watching much at all, man. Not much at all.
You been gaming?
Been doing some gaming and just been chilling for the most part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't be watching stuff all the time. I know. I go through those moments. I just happened to be on like a real groove this last couple weeks. Like I'm just like banging stuff out.
Yeah.
How about you, Dusty? You been watching anything good?
You started Creature Commandos yet?
No, that's actually probably going to be my next thing. Either that or Amazing Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I'm probably watch Creature Commandos though.
I need to finish that one. Season 2 of 1923 came out. I watched that.
God, I'm so
today.
behind.
Why would they make a season 2 of that?
Because Marvin, why not?
Because they didn't
1883
get a season.
is the superior show.
I agree.
But
but the way he wrote it, spoiler alert, everybody basically dies. So it wasn't meant to have a season 2, and the studio was kind of shocked. They're like, well, we wanted a season 2, so that he made 1923. He was like, all right, are you going to give us a sequel or a season 2 to this one, or what are we doing?
It was nice. One of the few nice things I could say about the Yellowstone finale is that it ended with what's her name's voiceover. I thought
that's cool.
I thought that was pretty nice.
Well, and she's the narrator to 1923, season 1 and 2. So
Elsa is.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's cool that I guess that the fact that she is
she's like the spirit of Yellowstone and telling the story of the land.
She's like the central figure of like the Duttons or whatever, which is kind of cool. I mean, listen, I don't mind that premise of like showing multiple generations of the Dutton family. I think that's fine. But like 2 seasons of a show, come on. Like you're trying to milk it for all it's worth. It's like squeezing water out of a rock.
There's some good actors.
I'm sure.
I'm over Yellowstone. The whole everything about it. I don't want to see anything else. Yellowstone.
Marvin's over fucking Taylor.
I'm about to watch. What's the Landman or some shit?
You weren't here last episode. I started. You gotta watch the beginning of the podcast. Actually, I had to cut it out because. This is funny.
I went on a pretty long rant.
I wasn't even gonna say anything, but it's actually it works out. So. Last week when I uploaded the episode 121, I opened it by talking to Dusty about Landman, how I was sent a clip by Maluk, our friend, because he shits on Yellowstone. He can't believe any of us ever liked it. So he sent me a clip of Landman, and it's like the cheesiest, shittiest fucking dialogue I've ever heard in my life. Whoever's the actress in that show, awful. So I opened the episode of talking to Dusty about like, I can't believe so many people are recommending this show to me after having watched this clip. And I actually had to I had to re-edit the video and re-upload it because YouTube flagged that it was blocked in all kinds, like everywhere. Nobody would have been able to view it because I had audio of the clip in the beginning, and it's from Paramount. Then a couple days later, I found out separately that Paramount is like one of the most egregious of like authoritarian companies that like flag shit on YouTube. Like they're like ruthless about it. So it was just like a funny coincidence that like I had experienced it with like, it was literally like I had like a 5-second audio of them talking. Anyway, Marvin, proceed.
What do you think is bad?
I don't know. That clip was not good. I'll send it to you. You can see for yourself. It was rough. All right. So you watched 1923. Is that what it is?
1923. Yeah. Still watching, rewatching the Will Robinson, the Lost in Space with the kids.
The Netflix one?
They hadn't seen it. Yeah, they hadn't seen it yet, so watching it with them.
I never
they're
finished the
loving
last season.
it. Yeah,
I
it's
never
good.
finished the second season. I think I watched the first season and that was it.
It was decent.
Mhm.
You're talking about the remake, right, Dusty?
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
3 seasons.
The
yeah.
Netflix show?
We
Yeah.
just started season 3, so
Yeah.
I've been watching that. Haven't really watched any movies or anything.
Did you finish Cobra Kai?
Yes, I did finish that. Yeah,
I finished it too this week. Man, that was fucking good.
yeah, it was.
They did such a good
Good.
job with that show. I'm so
Yeah.
glad it like happened. I'm so it sucks to see it ending, but like they brought it to its like I guess natural conclusion. But
Shout
did
out
they make
to
6
YouTube
seasons
for
of this
making
show?
that show happen.
Of Cobra Kai?
Yeah.
just
People
because,
like watch
YouTube,
the show.
baby.
Like people actually watch the show.
yeah, it's good.
I could.
The
give a fuck
season
less
1 was
about
on
Cobra
YouTube
Kai.
TV,
That's
Marvin. It was
Yeah.
like an
oh, that's what like
underrated
kicked
show.
YouTube TV off, right? Like one of
Yep.
the first.
Yes.
Speak of a show that
Yes.
got dropped by a place and picked up elsewhere. It was on YouTube TV. They canceled it. Got picked up by Netflix because it was so popular.
Mhm.
Wow. Way to drop the ball.
See, Marvin, this is why we do the podcast, because you don't have an appreciation for classics of the past. Or
No, I
desire-
do, but come on, Cobra Kai. I can't
I-
be watching that shit.
Dude, I actually thought the same thing when it first came out. I was like, there's no way this is gonna be good. It is a compelling, actually good, well-crafted story. I'm telling you. If you've seen
All right. Well, let me know in the comments if it's worth watching Cobra Kai. or
everybody's
not.
gonna say yes. If we get comments, they're gonna say yes. Listen, you've seen the original Karate Kid?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I don't know. I haven't seen the rest of them. I don't know how many. Is it
No,
5
no.
of them?
You
Some
don't even,
shit?
you don't even have to. You don't even have to. Really. I mean, kind of loosely, but it's really mostly about the first one because this one is about Johnny Lawrence, the villain of the original movie. The kid, the
okay.
bully, the kid he beats at the
The
end.
bully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's basically, this show is now obviously 40 years later or whatever, they're all old adults. Danny LaRusso went on to be a successful businessman and he's rich and he has a nice family and stuff. And Johnny is like a fuck up. He never really like got his life together. He's kind of an alcoholic. He's divorced. He's got an estranged son and he does like random odd jobs around town to make ends meet. And so that's basically what the show is. It's him reopening Cobra Kai to try to like get his life back. The show starts with them basically as enemies with the two rival dojos or whatever. And then it slowly but surely morphs into them becoming friends and partners and having an appreciation for one another. It really did. They did a great job with it. I was pretty surprised. More than just as like a fan of Karate Kid, even. Just a good show. But that said, if you like fan service, it does a lot of fan service. That's real good. Like real good fan service stuff. Without spoiling anything, Dusty, the one from this last bit of episodes that I'm sure how'd you feel about that? Were you perturbed by it or did you think it was cool?
I mean, I thought it was all right. They'd done it before, so
Not in this show. They did flashbacks, but not like that.
oh yes, I guess, yeah. I don't know. I thought it was fine.
it
For
didn't
what they
bother me.
did with it. Yeah, I didn't. No, it was fine.
It
I thought
didn't bother me.
the way they ended all the storylines is pretty good. It's pretty good overall story arc.
Mhm.
You don't have to have seen all the movies, but there's characters throughout the seasons that are from the
Yeah.
other movies. So
Mostly
if you haven't
Chosen.
seen the other movies, I mean, they all show up. But
Yeah, but I'm saying
it's
he's like the
mostly
most
Chosen.
prominent, like
Yes.
reoccurring person. Chosen Marvin he's like one of the villains from, I think
The second movie.
was it Karate Kid 2? Yeah. When they actually
Yeah.
when they go to Okinawa to do a tournament.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've seen that one.
the drum
Yeah. Oh my
Boy.
God.
tool.
So yeah, that shit was good. And I also watched Platonic, which I've mentioned to you guys last 2 weeks
Oh yeah,
ago.
what'd you think?
It was great.
Yeah.
Again, another
Pretty
thing
good
that
little show.
another thing that I thought was canceled, but actually wasn't. We're getting a season 2, which that's exciting. Also highly recommend, Marvin. Matter of fact, I think you would really like this. It's Apple TV, so it's automatically good. But it's kind of had similar vibes to Shrinking.
Really?
Yeah, not exactly as like heartwarming as Shrinking, or as sad,
Mm.
like as like sad as times as Shrinking, but it's got that like positive, uplifting energy of Shrinking, and it was really good. It's about basically two childhood best friends who haven't they had like a rift between them, and they sort of reconnect all these years later after one of them goes through a divorce. It's with Rose Byrne and Seth Rogen, which is why I was excited to watch it, because I love Seth Rogen. They played a couple in the Neighbors movies, and I think they had really good chemistry. So it was kind of nice to see them back together. And Nicholas Stoller was one of the creators, and he did the Neighbors movies. He did that Goosebumps series that I talked about recently. He's
Yep.
got his hands in a lot of things, and I just generally like his stuff. So yeah, that was really good. Excited for the second
Platonic.
season. I don't just,
Okay.
just like Apple TV, man. They
They got a real big one coming out. You might have talked about it in the last
what is it?
episode that I wasn't here for. The one you put in the chat with Vince Gilligan.
Vince Gilligan's new show. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh,
we did.
That's
talk
gonna
about
be a
that.
banger. We know
that's
it's
gonna be a
banger.
big one. Rhea Seehorn.
Oh yeah. It's like Vince Gilligan plus Apple TV. That's like fucking forget about it. It might be the best show ever made.
Psychological sci-fi. Yeah, this is
Oh,
gonna be one for the books.
Oh yeah. Best
You
show.
thought Severance was crazy. This show is
Mhm.
gonna be nuts.
Well, I'm excited for an added
What the
level.
fuck is psychological sci-fi even mean?
Well, listen, as we've talked about before, Vince Gilligan got his start on a little show. You might have heard of it, Marvin, The X-Files.
I've heard of it.
So if this
Still
is
haven't
in
finished the second season.
True Detective season 4.
5,
5, yeah.
5's coming. If this is in any way, shape, or form anything like his X-Files episodes, oh my god. Like just I could just die a happy
So
man.
which episodes did he direct in the second season?
In the second season, I don't know.
Or I thought you said it was some in the second season.
I don't remember. Vince Gilligan X-Files episodes. Let's see. The one that I know for a fact is his is the Fly episode, which is not in the second season. I'm sorry. That's
I don't think I've gotten to
that's
that one
Breaking
yet.
Bad. He did an episode with the guy who played Walter. What the fuck is his name? I can't think of it. Come on, somebody help me.
The guy who played Walter White?
Yeah. Bryan Cranston.
Oh, yeah.
So Bryan Cranston is in an episode of the X-Files that Vince Gilligan did.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like the movie Speed, where he has to continue going at a certain pace or his like head will explode or something. I can't fully remember it.
Oh.
But let's see what his credits are here. So season 2, he wrote an episode called Soft Light.
What episode number is that?
Episode number 23.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. Okay, don't talk about
The Monster of the Week episode.
it.
And then season 3, he wrote an episode called Pusher, and then he was a creative consultant on a bunch of episodes. Season 4, he's like all over this show. So
Okay.
like, here's the list. Like I'm looking, you see my screen, right?
Yep.
Like
That's a lot.
Oh yeah. Producer, writer, executive producer, directors. He's done.
I noticed one
creative.
thing in the X-Files that was so weird is like some of the shots are like really good, high quality shots, and then they cut to like this budget camera that's like the shittiest fucking thing you've ever seen. I'm like, dude, what just happened to this?
It's the 90s.
I think it's like maybe like a network TV thing, I guess. I don't know. Like they had a budget constraints.
Like a pickup camera, you mean, where it's just like B-roll or something, or
It was just really bad.
Huh.
I would have to find an example probably, but
yeah. Next time you see it, you'll have to record it or something
yeah,
to show me.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's gonna be big. That's gonna just guaranteed banger material. It's like there's just
Yeah.
that's it. I saw a funny tweet too, like a week or two ago, that was just like, it said something along the lines of like, man, Apple really took HBO's lunch or something like that. Like, because
Yeah, they did.
HBO used to be the GOAT. You know, they used to pump out the good shit, but now it's just Apple. Apple.
Yep.
I'm here for it. It is what it is. If I'm getting good TV, I'm fine. So Dusty's a newsman, folks. He used to do video game journalism. Now he muckrakes for us here with entertainment news. What do you got for us this week, Dusty?
Well, we'll start off with the piece that you linked. James Bond in new hands. I mean, the Broccoli family has been in charge of the Bond films for ever.
Yes.
And now they no longer have creative control.
Right.
I mean, you could say that's a good thing. You could say that's a bad thing. They've pretty much used up all of the stories, and there's nothing really to do but reboot it. So
did they
just hand it over?
Is there a movie for every Ian Fleming book? I don't even know.
Yes, I believe so. I think there's just a couple of short stories left that haven't been touched, but everything else has been used in some form or fashion.
Yeah. So Marvin, you were just joking that we were talking shit about Amazon. It's not that it's just on Amazon. It's the fact that they have creative control that I think is the issue here. Because, you know, like we see it constantly, the commodification of these big franchises. Disney did it with Star Wars and Marvel. Warner Brothers does it with DC poorly, but they do it with DC. James Bond now is going to be like, it's not just going to be like, oh, we're going to put out a James Bond movie every couple of years that's like really good. It's going to be like, they're going to have probably shows and fucking, they're going to have a Q prequel and an M fucking show. And it's just like, it's going to just completely dilute the material. And, you know, I mean, that's just how it goes. It's the corporatization of Hollywood these days, you know?
Yeah, that is true.
So that sucks. I'm not saying we won't get good stuff out of it, but it's like probably not going to be as good as we've been getting, you know?
Yeah.
Not to throw you under the bus, but folks, Marvin has never seen GoldenEye. We found out in a private conversation between the three of us.
It's true.
Yeah.
So that's going to have to go on the list real quick. But how do you feel about this, Dusty? Are you a big Bond fan?
I'm a big Bond fan. I mean, I'm not a super fan, but I love the Bond films. Roger Moore, probably my favorite Bond.
Roger Moore's a good Bond.
They all did great. All these guys were relatively no-name people when they got the role of Bond, or didn't really have any big breakout roles per se. So the question remains, who's going to be the next Bond? Obviously, there's been some big names dropped. Not even,
Henry,
the traditional, British white guy. Idris's name's been thrown out there, and people love it. I would be interested to see him, but
I think he'd be a great Bond. But that'll crack the world in half.
Well, Ian Fleming did once say he designed Bond to be rather anonymous to allow readers to identify with the character. But that said, he also has some distinctive and glamorous traits, namely his impeccable taste in cars, clothing, women, and cocktails. So, yeah. And
trying to say only white guys have those?
No, I'm saying given British diversity and everything, you can cast anybody you want as long as it fits those descriptions.
You just got to have swag, baby. And nobody has more swag than Idris. There's just nobody. So, I'm sorry. Just give him the role. Like I have, and I think a longtime fan casting was Clive Owen from Marvin in Children of Men. That guy.
Oh yeah.
Which I think he would be a good Bond, but he has vehemently, I think his whole career been against wanting to be Bond. I think he'd be good at Bond. I think there's a lot of
too old now, huh?
Oh, now for sure, yeah. I mean,
Idris is kind of too old.
I think he could have an older Bond. But I think
I mean, traditionally it's 30s and 40s, and they go for 10 or 15 years, right? Or this is what they want. That's what the Broccoli family. That was their basic Marvel method. They had it with James Bond, and it's always worked, and they've never really changed it.
yeah.
Get a guy at a certain year, keep him for as long as you can, 10
Well, why
decade
fix
or
it if it's
so.
not broken?
Pump it, yeah.
Well, Idris is already 52, so
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like Amazon's probably going to want to go younger, and I still think they should go like no name. Obviously, as an actor, you got to be worried that you're going to get typecast, but
I think he could do it. I think Hiddleston could be a good Bond, to be honest.
yeah, but of course he can. It's Hiddleston. I'm just going to see Hiddleston doing Bond, though.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think's going to happen when it's going to, first of all,
I don't want it to be a big name is what what I'm saying is I hope that they get a relatively unlike a lot of male actors get their start up in the soaps, they'll get a season or two in and then they'll get yanked. Somebody will be like, yeah, that guy's got the charm and charisma. Let's pull him out and see what he's got.
Yeah, but what's going to happen is it's probably going to be Henry Cavill. Like, let's just,
It's possible.
How old is he now? 40 something?
40 something. Same reason he's not playing Superman. He's a little old.
41. He could do it. He could do Bond at 41.
Yeah, I don't think 41's too old. I mean, that's like a couple years older than me.
Hugh Jackman's going to be playing Wolverine at like 72. So
yeah. Look at the comments.
Yeah, that's going to be ridiculous.
This Variety post on Twitter, just one of the comments just ripped James Bond. I think everybody is actually pretty much on the same page of like, yeah, here, get ready for a James Bond series on Prime, the biggest casting shit show of all time. Like, everybody just sees the writing on the wall. And Amazon does too. Like, they're not trying to hide anything. Fucking Jeff Bezos tweeted, like, who should be the next James Bond? Like, they're ready to do all that. So, it is what it is.
Yeah. I don't know. Prime, Jack Ryan was good.
Yeah, I'm not saying they have bad shows. I'm not saying that at all. It's just
they've got some.
It's just
Invincible's pretty good.
Yeah, no, they have great shows. It's just getting a big property and then knowing that the goal will be to milk it for everything it's worth. It will devalue it in the long run. Is the thing.
Well, and I think Bond is probably one of the main reasons that Bezos went after MGM. Probably. Because he's going after. I mean, you're going after. You're not just buying the studio. You're buying.
Yeah.
You're going after WB. You're going after DC or Harry Potter.
Right.
If you're going to Disney, you're going after Marvel or Disney. But
yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's
interesting
fair.
Move.
That's fair.
We'll see what happens with the old Bond, but now that we no longer have creative control, we'll see.
Yep.
But I think the first thing Bezos did was post on Twitter, who do you want to be the new Bond?
He sure did.
We'll have to.
Bond will be a chick now, and they'll make her gay and lame.
Wow. Gay and lame.
Yeah, you can't be both things.
Anonymity.
Yeah. Can't be both things.
All right.
Better than being gay and woke. All right, what else
we had the SAG Awards. So yeah, Adrian Brody's BAFTA and Golden Globes will have to suffice him because Timothée Chalamet takes Best Actor for
his speech has been
his role
blowing up on TikTok.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
It wasn't
also Only
crazy.
Murders in the Building I didn't figure it was. Got an award for Best Ensemble, and Steve Martin got Best Male Actor.
Wow.
And The Bear fell off. Apparently, maybe the voters are tired of hearing people complain about whether The Bear is a comedy or a drama and just didn't vote for it at all. But
wow.
Shogun showed up.
Bear should have won.
That's another
something.
show on my watch
phenomenal.
list that I haven't seen yet, and it got like 4 or 5 awards. Like,
oh yeah,
Shogun I think was the best showing.
Maybe that I'll just finish next since it's one season. I'll just blast through it.
What's that?
Shogun.
Oh,
you had watched it, right, Marvin? You had liked it, I remember.
Yeah. It was good. The more I think about it, though, it definitely is overhyped and not as like amazing as groundbreaking as people were saying. I don't know what kind of marketing or like bots they were running with,
Marvin
but
just woke up out of a fucking fever dream. He's like,
it
I don't
was
even know what I
not.
liked about
I was
that
thinking
shit.
about it the other day. Like that show was not as like spectacular and crazy as people were claiming it was.
Hey,
Like it was good. It was a good show, but like
Yeah. Listen,
Severance like is way better to me than that show was. Like
marketing
obviously
is a
they're
hell of a
completely
drug.
different shows, but yeah, they had the fucking algorithm. They had bots. I don't know what they had going
They put shit in the water.
on.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, that's pretty much it for the awards now. We've got the
Oscars.
academies left, right? Yeah.
March 2nd. March 4th.
So,
I think March 4th. Or the 2nd.
yeah,
Can't
it'll probably
remember.
be between now and when we record again. So we'll have our best and worst of the year.
It's March 2nd. Yeah. So we record that day.
Cool.
Oh, no. We record the day after, actually. So that's perfect
Good.
timing.
Yeah, sweet.
Yep.
We'll have our
Oscar
Best and
coverage
worst.
2025.
best and worst, so you can see. Maybe
Yeah.
we shit on a good movie. Maybe
Sure, we
not.
did.
Anywho, speaking of shitting on stuff, Rob Liefeld has doubled down
Can we just
on
talk
his
about
Feige hate and
what is
mudslinging.
this artwork? This can't be official artwork. Like this is
That shit looks like Lumen
yeah.
artwork.
This shit looks so bad, dude. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
this.
pretty
Feige,
good.
get Feige off the mound. He's spent. Fuck this guy already. He's just
Yeah.
looking for like his 5 minutes of fame.
Who's this?
Yeah.
Rob? Oh,
Rob
wait, who's
Liefeld.
this?
Rob,
He's a comic
creative
book
partner.
Oh, the
artist.
guy, the
What?
Daredevil guy.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
Deadpool.
Deadpool.
Yes.
He's done a bunch of stuff, but yeah, specifically his
Yeah.
gripe was about Deadpool, how he wasn't credited in the credits. Yet he had an in movie fucking set named after him.
Mm.
So
Yeah. Yeah, you're surprising me with your not being on his side for getting credit as an artist.
I'm on
Really.
his side for getting credit as an
Mm.
artist. I'm not on his side for what he's been doing because like it's like he's
Well, we
like,
don't know Feige, so I think all this new information about Feige is interesting. And I mean,
I don't
he's
know
got
Feige
a point.
at all.
Like, the movie fucking fell off a cliff, and it's probably not going to make any money.
How's that
It's probably
Feige's
gonna
fault? Like
lose
that's
money.
not. I mean,
Well, he said Feige spent like he's not able to make good movies anymore. Like he had his vision,
Mhm.
and he executed one of the most perfect
Yep.
cinematic visions in film history.
maybe he's done.
But he's got nothing left. Bring in somebody else with a different energy that has a different vision that can see the rest of it forward, because what Feige did was great, but he's done.
Yeah.
And
Damn.
like he's drawing a line in the sand, and like 5 or 10 years from now, we're talking about this. We're gonna be like, was Liefeld right? Was Feige done?
Oh,
Or did he
fuck.
still have some more left in the tank? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Maybe he is right.
which
Marvel's been
camp you gonna
shit.
be in? Pick a camp.
No, I listen, I'm not saying that. I just think the way he's going about things is like just weird. And it just seems
Oh yeah,
like,
he's throwing a temper tantrum like a child. Of course,
Yeah.
it's hilarious, but
it just seems
he,
like
he might have a point, is what I'm saying. Though. He
could.
might have a point.
he could have a point.
Yeah.
He could have a point. I don't know. I guess again, like I'm not gonna fucking jump in front of Feige like weirdos defend Elon or anything. So don't take this as a defense of him. I just think because he delivered that whole first half, as you said, is an amazing story ending at Endgame. I think he deserves a second chance because I don't think the stuff that we've been getting is of his doing or part of his vision. I think it's more corporate interference than anything.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, we have to give him some benefit of the doubt for the past phase, because
Mm-hmm.
obviously we had COVID. He didn't plan that.
No.
Then we had the strikes.
grab a drink,
He didn't
keep going.
plan
Yeah,
that. A lot of stuff was out of his hands.
Yeah.
With the phases and the chains up, Majors getting arrested and convicted of,
Yeah.
whatever it is he did. He didn't plan that. So
But also
I get it, but
Yeah. I also just don't.
that comes with the territory. You got to adapt.
Yeah. I also just don't agree that it's certainly possible, but I find it particularly unlikely that a guy would help facilitate such bangers just to then like fall off a cliff. Again, I'm not saying it's not possible, but it is.
Yeah, look what happened to Kanye.
Ant-Man 3 did better than Captain America, and he had time to fix the script and reshoot Captain America several times after everything was said and done. This was his first chance to like say, look, I am driving and we're going in a good direction. And a lot of people are saying like, I still want off this ride.
Yeah, that's fair. Marvin, scoot for me a little bit. You're off center now. There you go.
Anyhow, we do have some good Marvel news. We don't have to shit on them the whole time.
Shit away. I love shitting on shit.
We got a special presentation announcement from Mr. Brad Winderbaum.
Shit.
Talking comic book. Yeah. The Punisher is incoming.
I didn't even see this.
Oh.
Yeah, I was shocked to read this too. I was like, wait a minute. I had to go to Superhero Hype for this, and I love them. I've been using them since like 2000. Shout out Superhero Hype. But yeah, I saw this. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Why didn't I see this on any of the other sites? But I guess it was because it was an interview with Comic Book. It was a video interview. But what he says that's a character that's very important to John. He made that character an icon. He is, I think I can say he's working on a special presentation with us right now about that character. That character is driven by a lot of pain and a need to kind of get vengeance and justice. But it's always interesting where his philosophy lands on how he deals out that justice. To me, that's the most interesting part of the Punisher, how he justifies the violence he inflicts. So yeah, we talked about special presentations, I think, last time when we knew we weren't going to get one this year, and we know we're not going to get one next year.
This is very exciting.
But this is the first one I think that we've heard that they're actually working on that's in development. So this is great.
Wasn't there supposed to be a special presentation of Silver Surfer also? I'm pretty sure they had talked about that like a year ago or something.
Maybe teased. I don't know. I don't know. I just remember that we didn't have any in the lineup.
And this is a problem. Eggs in too many baskets. I get like it's a vast playground, but like you gotta rein it in a little bit. Let's refine things a little bit. We don't need 400 fucking shows and shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
definitely don't.
Speaking of which, I just saw something. I don't know if you picked it up. It's not really newsworthy, but it's worth mentioning now. Is that they announced for DC going forward, they plan to have 7 releases a year. And I think it was 2 live action movies, 2 animated movies, 2 animated series or something like that, and like 1 animated show. So like, yeah, it seems to be like a good number. But yeah.
Quality.
I'm down for Punisher. Obviously, he's one of my favorite characters, so give me more Punisher. Give me just only Punisher. I don't give a fuck. Make Disney Plus just dedicated to Punisher shit. I'll be happy.
Yep.
All right. Well, what else we working with? Actually, Born Again comes out soon. It's like 2 weeks, a week. March 4th.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Soon? All right. Have you guys watched Reacher yet?
I did, actually. I forgot to mention it. I watched the first 3 episodes with Ed the other night. Pretty good.
Nice.
Did you? You did, right?
Yeah. I watched it when it came out. Yeah. I don't have much else. The last pieces of what you talked about. Saffron Gunn did a lot of news this week, and they talked about the DC timeline and the evolution of it. We're 2 years into the new era. And we've got some quotes from here. They were talking with, I believe it was Hollywood Reporter. The DC brand was being defined by different creative teams at the company. Each was pursuing their own distinct visions of the characters and the story. The result was not one DCU, but many. We've unified the brand. We've greenlit 5 theatrical films, made 3 live-action series, and are producing 5 animated series. And apparently the DCU method will aim for 2 live-action films, 1 animated movie per year, like Dan was saying, and then 2 live action and 2 animated series for Max per year.
Yeah.
But it evolves because they talk about stuff that they let out, and I think Marvel is starting to figure this one out. Because they talked about Waller and how it's been a bumpy road and how they had no plans for making a Clayface movie, but Flanagan turned in a fucking script, and it's one of the better scripts they've ever read. And
course it
so
is. It's
they're all about, but Saffron and Gunn are all about story driven. If you hand me the script, and if it's a good script, we'll move forward. If not, don't talk to me. And so that's why some stuff is falling off, like Waller and stuff. Some stuff is picked up.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyhow, we also got Gunn said he's working very closely with an unnamed writer for Brave and the Bold. Andy Muschietti was announced as a director and producer, but may not be as involved as previously announced. That was definitely from the Hollywood Reporter. But yeah, he's not doing it, but he's working closely with, and they wouldn't say who it was. So that's interesting, I guess. But
I saw allegedly the right, because he had expressed previously that like the strategy is to write something and then present it when it's finished, rather than decide like, hey, this is what we're making, this is what it's about, this is the date, now give us a script while we're fucking actually doing production stuff.
Yeah, no, they won't do anything until a script is in hand.
So I think what's happening with Muschietti is that like they're waiting for a script to be done, and then they will see what director fits with the script that they're making, which is the better way to do it. That's how it's supposed to be.
Well, and that's what they said about the Batman 2 script. He said, he's handing me a part of a script that's really promising, but we're not doing anything until we get a whole script. So
that's like a ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's such a ridiculous way to do it in any other way. That's why with Marvel, you get stuff that feels so disjointed and weird, because it's like you're pairing writers with you're putting a director on a project that they didn't have any sort of like influence in, or the writing was done. It's just so weird,
Well, because the Marvel method was to announce a storyline or a character and push that storyline or character no matter what, whereas DC is like, yeah, we're trying to do this Waller script, but it's not really working out, and so this Clayface thing came along. We're like, it works great, so we're gonna make it work. Like they'll develop multiple things at the same time, and whatever works, or whatever comes along. I think Marvel is starting to do that. They're starting to get the idea of that's probably the way to go.
Marvel's also talked about too, what the filmmakers have, is that like if they treat the movies as like passing of a baton race, where it's like, hey, you're next up. And so like the things that, let's say, like the Russo brothers established in Endgame was necessarily not planned, and didn't, like James Gunn didn't know that Gamora was going to die in Endgame. So now he has to like deal with the fallout of that in his movie. And like, that's kind of like a weird way to go about it. And I'm sure if James Gunn had to, he probably wouldn't have wanted Gamora to get killed off. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I think this is probably a better plan. Last thing I got, big trailer drop today, right? Fucking Andor season 2 coming out April. What'd you guys think of the trailer?
I'm hyped for this show, but this trailer was not a great trailer. The very first like text, they're saying the first season of Andor was hailed by critics everywhere. I'm like, okay, weird.
Well, it's funny you mentioned it, because this tweet here that I actually saved, I bookmarked it because it was funny. It says, very funny to advertise your TV show with, this one's the good one, we promise.
That's literally what the trailer felt like. They just kept reiterating, like, guys, this is going to be so good.
Yeah.
Like, instead of making a really good trailer. I mean, there's some good shots in there.
Well,
but it wasn't a good trailer.
Well, no, because listen, this is the same thing with what we were just talking about, Bond. Disney has commodified and sucked the life out of Star Wars for all it's worth. You had a new trilogy that came out. You had Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian, fucking Ahsoka. You're getting a second season of Ahsoka. There's gonna be a Mandalorian movie. There's gonna be another Mandalorian season. We got fucking the Bad Batch. There's the Skeleton Crew. There's Andor. Like, they are just Obi-Wan. I'm missing some. Like, there's so many.
I still need to watch Skeleton Crew because
I heard that was good. But they're just sucking the fucking life out of it. And so, Acolyte. How could I forget? And so, like, when the majority of them are bad,
forgot about that one.
And like the general consensus about your shit is like, wow, they make bad stuff. this is the only way to market it. It's like, hey guys, we know it's another Star Wars thing,
Remember the first season of this?
but this is our good show. So yeah, it is a ridiculous
That's
way
terrible.
to market it, but what choice do they have? What choice do they have?
Yeah, they fuck up.
And
Instead
Andor,
of just focusing on the good
Just
stuff like
market it.
this, yeah.
and if you watch the trailer muted, it looks fucking great. Like I know the show's going to be good. I'm not worried about that. But it is a funny way to market it for sure. So, yeah. This is what we're going to get with Bond. I'm telling you, there's going to be an M prequel where he's in World War II and he's making gadgets on the fly while he's fighting Nazis and shit. And we're going to get a Q special. I think I mixed them up. I think Q's the gadget guy.
Mhm.
Can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, M is the boss.
And what was the song choice of this trailer?
Yeah, I don't know. That was.
Did you hear it?
It's like
it was so strange.
It's like an AC/DC song or something.
It's like they're trying to copy Guardians of the Galaxy type
a little bit
songs or something. Like it's weird.
Yeah, this is a Disney trailer. This has nothing to do with the people who made the show. This was just like
Sadly, yeah.
Disney took this to their like in-house like fucking. They probably got like people on staff that work at the local college or something. Freelance work. It's like, hey, cut a trailer for this.
Mixed with AI.
Yeah.
Interns.
Interns, yeah.
Unpaid interns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Who made this show again? Who directed this?
Tony Gilroy.
Yeah, he probably watched this and was like, "Yeah, this is a disgrace."
He's funny because he doesn't give a shit. He's like, remember, I mean, we've talked about it. He's like, I don't give a shit about Star Wars. Like, I don't care about any of the Star Wars lore or anything. Like, I'm making this specific thing, and it shows.
Right.
That's why it's good. You know.
Yep.
So, I mean, listen, hey, Andor's going to be great. I have no doubt about it. And this is
no
probably
doubt,
going to be the last season. Like, I would imagine this ends right where Rogue One starts.
Right. Right.
I think that's the plan. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, do you have any transitional news for us this week, Dusty?
No segues.
Really?
Today.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. So it's Make Marvin Watch Day, folks. Once a month, Dusty and I pick a movie that Marvin should watch that he hasn't because he hasn't seen shit. There's a lot of them. This month was my choice, and I picked one of my favorite movies of all time, Dave, and I picked it because we just had our own presidential election. We're now 1 month into the second term of God King Emperor Trump. And so I thought
we also had a phantom government there for a little while.
Yeah. And so I thought it would be kind of fun to watch this movie. So what would you do if you could be president for a day or a few days? That's the question raised by this movie, Dave, where a uncanny lookalike to the president named Dave is recruited by the Secret Service to become a momentary stand-in for the real president. And it is directed by Ivan Reitman, the GOAT of such films as Ghostbusters, just little movies like Ghostbusters.
I didn't realize his kids were in this.
Are they?
They're the president's kids.
Really? I didn't even notice. Wait.
Yeah, they're the little children.
He has kids in this movie?
Yeah, they're. Yeah.
Did you watch
the homeless shelter?
movie? Dusty watched the wrong movie. Good luck.
No, there's.
There was kids at the homeless shelter.
Yeah. Maybe that's it. But this stars Kevin Kline, Sigourney Weaver, Frank Langella, who we just said played Skeletor, Kevin Dunn. Pretty big cast, to be honest. Ving Rhames is in this, Ben Kingsley, Charles Grodin, Laura Linney, Bonnie Hunt, like crazy cast.
Yeah, that's an amazing cast.
Yeah.
I was also thinking, I bet Ving Rhames has looked the same since he was in 10th grade.
He was born that way, bro. He's
got one of those, like, how, like 10th high schools used to look like they were 35. Like, that's how Ving Rhames looked in high school for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was born that way, though, dude. He came out looking like that. Fucking, I love though that his whole career almost, with the exception of like Pulp Fiction, I feel like, and I'm sure a few others, but he's always played like the brolic dude, but with like he's like a teddy bear. He just plays like a soft little guy. It's so funny. I love Ving Rhames. But yeah, so this is a comedy about a regular guy who becomes president for a short time, and it kind of raises the question: how would we handle it if we became president? Would any of us handle it like Dave? And
That's a good question.
yeah, the president in this movie, the real president, is not so good of a guy. He's kind of a scumbag, corporatist. In the film, there's a scandal dealing with like campaign contributions and donors and voter fraud and like all this stuff that our politicians totally don't get involved in real life. But Dave steps in to take his place when the president has a massive stroke that incapacitates him indefinitely while cheating on his wife with his secretary. And Dave takes this opportunity, this once in a lifetime opportunity to, I'm gonna get choked up even talking about it, to make some real change in the country that he thinks will be good for the country. So, yeah. So Marvin, I've never asked you this before, but I'm curious. When we pick a movie, do you like look into it beforehand, or you just watch it cold?
No.
So I'm always curious, like
what
did you expect going into this one? Like I'm sure you looked at the poster and stuff like that, right?
I just looked at Sigourney Weaver and I was like, she was an alien.
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
No, I mean, I enjoyed this movie. This felt like a classic right from the jump.
Oh, yeah.
Like from the music to the way it was filmed to the dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely don't make them like this anymore.
They certainly don't.
That was an interesting question you posed. What would I do if I could become president for a day?
Yeah.
I actually felt like this movie showed me that it would just take so much to undo all the fuckery that is wrong with our country.
Mm-hmm.
And I started thinking about that stuff and got kind of depressed. So,
well, no, you just implant a billionaire that makes a person alive to create a fake organization that's a meme with 19-year-old interns to do everything.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. We'll fix it. Don't worry about it. Go ahead.
Yeah. It was good though. It was cool. I like the whole, like he started from the bottom doing gigs.
Yeah.
Riding a pig to actually standing in for the president. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
My girl from the Ozarks, that was her.
Laura Linney.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Or Ozark, sorry.
Yeah. She's been in this is actually a prequel to Ozark. She's been in politics. She started fucking
Right.
the president, and then
she's got that good. I thought dude died like Count Orlok at first.
the fucking sun came up and shit. Yeah.
This is kind of random, but why is like audio so bad in these older movies sometimes? I don't know. It might be a me issue, but like
No, it's ADR.
Audio, the dialogue is just like I can hardly hear some of the stuff these people were saying.
Oh, I don't know. That might be a Streamio thing. I don't know.
Nah, it was nah.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't think I had that experience.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know what it was.
there's a lot of
But I get that too when I'm watching like X-Files too, which is like an older
Really?
thing, which is like, yeah, I don't know what it is.
I don't know. Maybe it's like just the way they did like the audio tracking or something. But they did a lot of ADR back then. Which
What is that?
That's where like you notice it a lot in these movies because they don't correct it. Where sometimes it looks like they're lip syncing because they'll go in and re-record something.
Oh, okay.
And then they overlay the audio over the original footage, so their lips are saying things that don't match the audio. There's like one or two moments in this movie, but that was like a pretty popular tactic back then. I mean, you know, when you have
that's cool. I didn't know that. Yeah. That swap back at the end was actually crazy, like an action movie plot twist type of thing. I wasn't ready for that. I thought it was going to be some different type of ending, but that was cool. I liked the way they did that.
Yeah. What about you, Dusty? What do you think about this movie?
It was Jason that was the vice president's son.
Oh,
and
okay.
Catherine is Stephen Root's daughter, Dawn Dornberger or whatever.
Gotcha.
Stephen Root's character.
So
they were in the movie. You were making me think. Stephen Root. Yeah, Stephen Root was in this.
Wait, is
he Stephen Root?
He's not in this.
Okay.
Well, no, I don't know if he is. I don't think he is. I don't remember him. I'm looking. But go ahead. Continue what you were saying.
But no, this movie is great. He's not in it for very long, like one scene. This is it's a really good movie. It's
he is in
like
this.
you said, it's a what would you do if you could? It's also a commentary on what you should do versus what you would do, and like the politics of it. The politician's gonna politic, they're gonna do the gritty thing, and Dave, being the average human who you would think would do the right thing no matter what, ends up doing the right thing. So it's just a great story. In that position of power, you want to do the right thing, you want to help those in need. So yeah, I don't know, I love this movie. It's been a while since I'd seen it, but it's a great movie. Highly recommend it.
Stephen Root Marvin is Barry's handler in Barry.
Oh,
the guy that
he was in this.
Yeah, I don't remember him in it. What scene is he in? Does he play one of like the news anchors or something? Or
no,
I don't remember. But
yeah,
it's all right. But yeah, so like you just said, it poses that question in an interesting way, because we've had so many president movies over the years, ranging from like mostly action movies, right? Like, presidents getting kidnapped and fighting alien invasions and like all this stuff. This, to my knowledge, is like the only movie that's like, it's not realistic. It's obviously fantastical, but it's like, hey, what would you do if you could be president? Like, would you, and the movie poses it in such a way that is sort of reality of like, this is the most powerful position on the planet. And I don't mean to say that in like the, American exceptionalism way, but like it is. The president wields a tremendous amount of power and influence in the world, and can very easily, as we see in the movie, and as we see in real life, change things with the stroke of a pen. I don't know how executive orders work, but like this motherfucker Trump's doing a lot of them. So, like you could change a lot with the power of the presidency. And Dave in this film is the complete opposite of the president. While he looks like the president, nearly identically, he's the complete opposite in every way, where he actually cares about people. And in fact, in his real life, while he's not moonlighting as a lookalike, doing little parties and shows and stuff, he works at a job placement office.
Yes.
And he finds people work. And he says in this movie, later in the movie, like, people want jobs, like people want to work. And it's an argument I and other progressives make when talking about like, quote, government handouts and stuff. One of the arguments against like social policies or social safety net policies is that like, oh, it'll just make people lazy. They're handouts, they're this, they're that. When in reality, the argument is like, it is human nature to want to work and to want to be productive and do those things. You just have to give people the opportunity to do such things. Of course, there are anomalies. There are people who will always be lazy and want to just do nothing and get handouts and all that stuff. But the vast majority of people want to work. So that's kind of his position in this. And I really like that. I don't think I've ever seen a movie approach the concept of the presidency in this way. Yeah. And in the beginning, when he first gets the position, it's like he's very much beholden to Frank Langella and Kevin Dunn's characters, Alan and Bob. Bob is like a former senator, I think he is, and he's like really gunning for the presidency. He thinks he deserves it. So he's using this opportunity to scheme and manipulate his way into the presidency by framing the vice president, and so that he could step up to be the vice president, and then eventually the president when they announced that the real president died. Kevin Dunn plays Alan Reed. He's just like the president's, what is he, the campaign manager or whatever? Now he's like the, not the chief of staff, that's Bob, but
speechwriter.
Yeah, they're kind of just like scheming. And they're kind of the puppeteers trying to get Dave to just do and be the figurehead. But eventually there's a turning point where Dave kind of starts like really leaning into it, and the media and like people in the country start to see like the noticeable shift in the president's demeanor and behavior and his, how he's becoming like a nice guy. And Marvin, you mentioned it briefly, but the turning point is when he goes to visit the homeless shelter for children. and he has this like really heartwarming moment with a kid who's like kind of shy and doesn't want to play with the other kids. And the next day he finds out that Bob basically forged the president's signature to like pull funding from these homeless shelters around the country, and he gets really pissed and he kind of takes it upon himself to actually become the president now at this point.
Yeah.
And he brings in his friend who's a Murray, who is good at, I guess, at finances, and they figure out how to save, was it $650 million or something like that?
Yep.
So that he could keep the homeless shelter going. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a really nice and thoughtful movie because he's just a nice guy and he's doing the things that, you know, that he feels is right. And, you know, I would tend to agree.
Yeah, I would too.
Um,
Dave for president. But good men don't become president.
No, that's true. You have to be a ruthless scumbag to become president, or at least, the very least, be a sellout to be president. So what would you guys do if you could be president, Marvin? What would you do? What would be like if you could only do one thing as president, what would it be?
One thing?
Yep.
I would probably give like massive funding to public education.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Including like teachers' salaries.
That's a good one.
That sort of thing. Yeah.
Teachers are vastly underpaid in this country. Dusty, how about you? Dusty's is going to be funny, surely.
I would eliminate one of the unnecessary departments. If I can only do one.
What department?
I don't know which. Oh, I guess it wouldn't even be a department. Maybe the Federal Reserve. Go after the Federal Reserve.
Okay.
Damn.
That'd be a good one.
Federal Reserve is bad. I would follow in my boy Bernie's footsteps, and my first act would be to eliminate money from politics by making it impossible for politicians to take large campaign contributions, or any campaign contributions for that matter, from corporations or whatever. Only grassroots money raising that is capped probably at like a couple $1,000. What were you gonna say, Dusty?
Just get government out of money altogether.
Because that's really like the source of all our government's corruption and stuff, is the fact that like there's just so much money and wheel greasing going on that like, even if you are, let's say Obama, right? Like Obama probably came into this as like a hopeful, bright-eyed guy. He hope and change. He was a progressive guy. He ran as a progressive. And when he got into office, like he just became another corporatist. In fact, he probably ramped up neoliberalism more than anybody. He's like large reason why we're in the position we're in today. And, you know, was he like that always? Was he just fooling everybody when he was running for president? Or did he just like get a fucking giant briefcase handed to him after he became president? It's like, hey, this is what you work for us now, buddy. So, you know, I think if you eliminated,
it's wild. Some people say he was more of a moderate centrist. Oh, but if you take his positions today, you after someone on the left, they tell you you're a Nazi if you hold his positions.
Well, neoliberalism is conservatism of like the 80s, like Reagan conservatism. But yeah, that's what I would do. Do you think this movie would work today in this, like, our political climate, something similar? Because this is a very simple premise. It's just, we have a shitty president who is replaced by a good guy who does a good thing. Do you think that a movie like this would, I feel like I don't know. If it was like remade or something, do you think that it would even like land? I think it does. I think it works today just on its own, because like I watch it and I get teary eyed. I'm like, damn, like, fuck.
I think it works on its own. I don't think it needs any type of remake or anything.
No, for sure not.
Yeah, I think it works on its own.
Okay.
It holds up.
It definitely holds up, I think.
100%.
Yeah, I don't know. There's too many chances to, make weekend at Bernie references about how it's just a remake of what they did.
Yeah. With Biden. That's actually funny.
With Biden.
People probably would say that. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just doing this because the chief of staff was running the White House as a ghost admin anyways. Biden wasn't in control.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
What do you think about I love the relationship between Sigourney Weaver and him in the movie. How it's kind of like a Severance thing, right? It's like with Dylan and his wife. Like
Yeah.
she's seeing the physical guy that looks like her husband that she once loved, but like it's all the attributes of what he's not and what she wished he always would be, type of thing.
Yeah. It always comes back to Severance.
Yeah. I love the fact that they kind of like fall in love or whatever. And
yeah, he got the girl. That was a huge W for sure. That was cool.
Big W.
Yeah.
And he won the hearts of the country. That's the cool thing too, is really when you think about it, is like nobody ever finds out that he was the president, that there was a stand-in.
Yeah.
You mentioned like the big plot at the end. Well,
the swap.
They do this like intricate swap where they reveal that the president has died of a stroke, and they stage it and all this stuff, and he kind of like walks off into the moonlight.
Yeah.
And but it's really the fact he won over the hearts of the country, because the country at this point in the beginning of the movie, when he takes over, is very like they're very disenchanted by the current administration. The media doesn't look at him very favorably. They say he's kind of just like I forget what they call him, but one of the I can't remember if it was can't remember who it was, but one of the like news anchors calls him something like a flighty president or flyby. I can't remember what they say, but that he's just kind of like floating through his presidency, not really doing anything. But yeah, Dave single-handedly changes the way the nation sort of looks at the president, but they're really looking at him that way. Like he wins them over. So it's really nice. And at the end,
and he passes the torch to the vice president. He gets to take over.
Yeah, to Ben.
And
Kingsley.
We assume that he's pretty decent at his job if he was beefing with the actual president.
Yeah, they were actually looking to set him up for this like scandal, and then we get a nice moment where he comes to Dave, who he thinks is the real president, and says like, how could you do this to me? Like, I've never been anything but like nice to you, and I've supported you despite our political differences and this, that, and the other thing.
Right.
And there's also a really nice moment where Dave asks him like, how'd you get into this to begin with? And he tells him this nice story about how he ran for like public counsel because he was a shoe salesman, and you get the idea that he really did just get into politics to like help people out. And Dave sees in him that he is really a good man, and he asks, who does he ask Sigourney Weaver about him? I think does he ask Ving Rhames? He asks somebody, and one of them says the vice president's a good man. I think it's Sigourney Weaver, Ellen.
I think so.
And so he gets the confidence to pass the torch on to him, so that when the president's death happens, obviously the vice president takes over. And
I think it wasn't an ask. It was more of just a conversation that he had with Sigourney Weaver because he wanted to meet him first before he made his decision.
Yeah.
And he met and talked with him. And then he had a conversation with Sigourney, and he's like, the vice president is a good man.
Yeah,
and Sigourney agrees. She says, yes, he's a very good man.
Right. Yeah. And then he goes back to his job as, giving people jobs, but he's also running for council himself. He's following in the path of the vice president, running for city council first. And you kind of get the impression that, hey, maybe he'll actually become the president someday by following the same trajectory. You don't really know how old Dave is in this. You figure like, I don't know, late 30s, 40s. So it's reasonable to suggest that if he climbs the ranks of politics naturally, that he could become the president someday in a real way. Now, it'll be funny when he steps into office and everybody's like, hey, you look a lot like that other guy
exactly
from a couple of years ago.
That's right.
But the movie kind of ends just on a really positive note, and it's just it's just a very positive, feel-good movie. Like there's nothing like negative about it. It's just great. It's sweet, and it's, I think, something I think we could all hope for. I guess whatever your version of it is, it would be nice if there would be a president who actually did have the interests of the people at heart when they take the job or during the job. So that's my takeaway from the movie. What about you?
My takeaway, on, man. Be yourself.
That's right.
Stick to your morals,
Mm-hmm.
even when you get into a position of power.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, he didn't change either. He continued
didn't
to be
change
who
at
he
all.
was. Yeah. I love the montage when he's just kind of like going through the motions of like doing public events and this, that, and everything, and everybody's just kind of like he's winning over everybody. Everybody's just falling in love with him, and most importantly, he wins over the heart of the tough and rugged Ving Rhames.
Yeah. Full circle at the end. Everybody was back together.
Because in the beginning, when he sits down with Ving Rhames when he makes him a sandwich and he's like, "Hey, would you take a bullet for me?" He doesn't answer him. And at the end
that
of
was
the
a
movie,
good moment.
he hits him with the, "Oh, I'm gonna get choked up." He says, "I would take a bullet for you." And he goes to work for him too when he's running for public office.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's security.
Yep. So yeah, what a great movie. I love Kevin Kline. He's kind of like a staple of like 80s comedy.
He's amazing.
Yeah, he's a really great actor. He does a lot of like stage acting and stuff. Another movie, one of my favorites that's on Make Marvin Watch list for the future, A Fish Called Wanda. One of, I think, the funniest movies ever made. Big Kevin Kline fan. Loves Sigourney
Kevin Kline
Weaver.
was in Wild Wild West?
Yeah. Yeah,
that is him. Wow.
Forgot about that
crazy.
movie.
Fucking love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this movie is fantastic. It's one of my favorites. Rest in peace, Ivan Reitman. He's done some great stuff over the years. Final verdicts? Any last things you guys want to say about it?
Definitely go watch it. It's a great movie.
Marvin?
Yeah, honestly, it is a fantastic movie.
All right. So you
give it a watch.
So you liked it. You're not disappointed.
Not at all.
Okay. We have a good track record, Dusty. I don't know if he's disliked anything we've made him watch.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Well, Dave's got a 6.9 on IMDb. I don't know if, like, I've never even heard people talking about this movie, so I don't know. But definitely everybody should go watch it. 6.9. I got to bump it up. I'm going to give this a 10. There's nothing wrong about this movie in my book. How about you, Marvin?
It's a 10.
10? Damn.
I think it's a 10, yeah.
All right.
I'd give it an 8. It's good. It's not going to get my perfect, but I'd give it an 8. It's a great movie.
Okay. Excellent. So there you have it, folks. Go watch Dave. I was going to say something else. Anyway, lost my train of thought. There's our thoughts, folks. There's Marvin's first time watching Dave. He liked it. We all love it. Go watch it if you haven't. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you would do if you were president for a day. You heard our campaign promises. What would yours be? Drop your answers in the comments. Also, let us know what you think Marvin should watch next. We do the Make Marvin Watch once a month. Big day. Next month is Dusty's month. So we'll see what he comes up with. But we do this once a week, folks. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed. You'll get, click the bell for notifications and all that good shit. Leave a like on the video. It helps us out. And we will catch you guys next week. Thanks for watching.
See ya.
Hasta.